All right, welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel. My name is Chris and I'm here bringing you guys the high rev perspective.
And my name is Josh and I'll be bringing the low rev perspective.
Today we're gonna be taking a look at the brand new Track Theorem Delta, and I'm gonna be comparing that to the Rotogrip Transform Pearl and the Hammer Full Effect.
And I'll be comparing it to the Storm Next Factor and the Hammer Hammerhead Pearl. These comparisons will give us and you an idea of what these pieces look like going down the lane. At the end, we will give our honest, unbiased review anywhere from nuts to trash. With that being said, we are here at Mesa East Bowl on a fresh house shot, so make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys out on the lanes.
For me, this is only the second theorem in this line that I've thrown. I threw the theorem solid. I never threw the original theorem. To me, this one I thought was going to be a little bit stronger, but it's actually down lane and smooth. It's not too quick down lane. Thought it would definitely be more of like a strong and sharp ball, but to me, this actually fits in the medium sharp category, just because I feel like it actually wanted to get down lane and it wasn't feel like it was like super strong and tumbly. When I got it down lane to the right, it had a quickness to it, but it was actually pretty blendy. I thought this one might be a little bit forward. I've seen Josh throw the original theorem quite a bit. That one, it looks really forward. To me, this one was actually fairly continuous. Didn't really have any problems with this one deflecting too much. The only ones that really deflected were the ones that were in the oil. So to me, this ball motion was actually pretty good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Hammer Full Effect and see how that compares. So to me, the Full Effect is stronger overall, more than the Theorem Delta. To me, I feel like when we first threw the Full Effect, it was pretty quick, but honestly, this has probably been one of the most blendy, tumbly, kind of clean asymmetric balls, and it's just so smooth off the friction, and I never have any problems with it really hockey sticking. And I kind of saw with the Theorem Delta how smooth it wanted to be. It kind of had that archy shape, but it's just a little bit more down lane because the core's not quite as big. So to me, they fit a pretty similar spot, but overall I think Full Effect is slightly more ball. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Transform Pearl and see how that compares. So to me, the Transform Pearl is definitely stronger, ball up from both the Full Effect and the Theorem Delta. This one fits in the strong and sharp category, so to me, while it's a little bit cleaner through the front part of the lane, it definitely has that stronger core, definitely more teeth off the friction, so you really see a little bit more of a change of direction. The Theorem Delta wanted to be a little smoother off the end of the pattern overall, and not quite cover as many boards as the Transform Pearl. All right, final thoughts on the Theorem Delta. I don't know exactly where to put this one. I struck a decent amount of times, but I didn't strike enough to where I feel like I have this solid in the fire category. It's somewhere in between fire and meth for me, but I feel like with how controllable it is, I feel like I just have to put it in the fire category, just because with it being super controllable, you know you can throw it on a variety of different patterns, and to me that's really what I look for in really good bowling balls, is like just that controllability. Like I never had a problem with it hooking too early, and when I got to the friction, it was still controllable and predictable. I knew what it was gonna do, so I think for that reason I'm gonna put it in the fire category. So I really like this ball motion.
For me, this ball was pretty much like a theorem. I've seen most of the theorems. The one it didn't remind me of, funny enough though, is the one that it should be closest to, the Theorem Pearl. I did feel like it was smoother and a little quicker off of friction than that Theorem Pearl. Kind of, I would say, more true to like a Theorem solid quickness, even though it's in a pearl shape, but definitely not as forward or as tumbly as like a Theorem Pearl. For me, as I moved further left, I felt like I could get it to bounce off friction in a really nice way, and I felt like it didn't want to necessarily hook a ton in oil, but it still was just enough to where I knew I could, still try to be softer and keep it there for as long as I wanted to. As I moved further left, I still felt like I could bend it and still felt like a clean enough shape to where I could try to swing the lane if I really needed to, but like I said, typically not my A game, but it felt like it was able to do that as well if need be. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Next Factor and see how it compares. For me, this ball was a Very similar to the Theorem Delta, I just felt like it was just a little bit cleaner. For me, I felt like that could be a good thing, just especially on patterns where they are soupy in the middle. Like today, I feel like the Next Factor has a slightly better chance of getting off of it the right way. However, the Theorem definitely read the lane a little bit better today overall. However, like I said, both of these I can still see being very useful, you know, blending the lane out once they start to hook more on really anything. I feel like the Theorem is going to be probably used when there's just a little bit more oil, just because again it allows you to play a little bit straighter for longer, which on something like this can be beneficial just trying to use that oil. So now we're going to go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Hammerhead Pearl and see how it compares. For me, this ball is definitely the cleanest and the weakest. I do feel like it's pretty much a step down from the Theorem, not more than that, not really less. Overall, definitely a little bit too clean of a piece to be throwing. Definitely should have moved a little bit further right, got a little tricked with a couple shots that hooked early, but overall, definitely a good step down. I would say about a 2-3 board difference, obviously to the right, just because it hooks just that much less. So final thoughts on the Theorem Delta. For me, the Theorems have always been a staple in my bag, and this one is basically going to be another staple right added to it. Overall, I really like the shape of this ball, and I felt like you could get it to friction and it was smooth enough to kind of be gentle off of it, but it was still strong enough to try to hook off the inside oil portion of the lane. So overall, I'm going to give this ball a fire. I felt like it just needed to strike a little bit more for it to be a nuts, but overall really like the way this ball shapes and really looking forward to throwing it more.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.